Shalom. This week we are reading Parashat Tetzaveh, meaning you shall command, the seventh Torah portion of the book of Shemot, Exodus, beginning in chapter 27, verse 20. This portion is a direct continuation of the previous Parsha of Truma. We are still privy to what's going on atop cloud-covered Mount Sinai. We are getting advance notice, so to speak, as God gives over to Moshe all the instructions for the divine service. Last week, in Parashat Truma, God instructed Moshe in the building of the Mishkan, the Tabernacle, the portable Mikdash of the desert. In this week's Parashat Tetzaveh, Hashem continues to relate to Moshe more details of the Tabernacle and those who will be serving in it. This Parasha focuses entirely on matters of the Kohuna, the priesthood which began with Moshe's brother Aaron and continues through his descendants. God has sanctified the priests above the rest of the nation. Thus he ordained special laws which affect their lives because, as we shall see, their status is different than that of other men. It's noteworthy that this is the only Torah portion throughout the entire Torah, from Exodus through Deuteronomy, from the time of Moshe's birth, in which his name is not mentioned. From the time that he was introduced onto the scene until the end of the Torah, this is the only Torah portion that his name is not mentioned. What's the significance of his sudden temporary disappearance? The words with which the portion begin, and you shall command, the you is Moshe, and Hashem is speaking directly to him. This is a digression from the usual format of, and Hashem spoke to Moshe saying. We'll get back to this mystery later. The Parasha begins with the command to take oil for the kindling of the Menorah each day. Then the first half of the portion deals with the instructions for preparing the Bigdei Kohuna, the priestly garments of Aaron and his sons. Moshe is to draw close Aaron, his brother, and his sons, Nadav, Avihu, Elazar, and Itamar, to serve as Kohanim in the Tabernacle. Artisans will prepare special garments for them to wear at the time of their service. For Aaron, as high priest, 8 garments, and for his sons, the ordinary priests, 4 garments. The garments of the high priest are the breastplate, the ephod, the tzitz, or golden headplate, the robe, the tunic, the headdress, the belt, and the pants. The ordinary priests wear only 4 garments, the tunic, belt, hat, and pants. The second half of the Parsha begins with the commandments regarding the offerings for the inauguration of the Kohanim. Moshe is instructed that he will sanctify the Kohanim by means of a 7-day ceremony that will include bringing various offerings to the altar and anointing them with oil and dressing them in their garments. The Parsha continues with the commandment of the daily Tamid offering and the commandment to fashion the incense altar. But now open up your hearts in the deepest way. The portion of Tetzaveh begins, and you shall command the children of Israel that they shall take for you pure olive oil pressed for illumination to kindle a lamp continuously. In the tent of meeting, outside the partition that is near the tablets of the testimony, Aaron and his sons shall arrange it from evening until morning, before Hashem, an eternal decree for their generations from the children of Israel. The Mikdash, the sanctuary, the holy temple, is a projection of Hashem's dream, a model world like a physical representation of God's greatest desire, as it were, of being welcomed to the world by man and living happily together. Maybe that's one way of understanding the mystical teaching that the permanent location of the Temple Mount on Mount Moriah in Jerusalem is the center of the Garden of Eden. Everything that happens in the Mikdash is all about fixing what went wrong in Eden and living happily ever after. The sages also teach that the earthly Jerusalem corresponds to and is aligned opposite the heavenly Jerusalem, the heavenly throne. The physical entity that God gives us the privilege of building is the image and twin to the spiritual concept. But it's all about God's presence in this world. Now, the first duty of the Kohanim that is mentioned in this week's portion is the kindling of the Menorah. The temple does not function at night. It's closed for business. Its offerings are brought to the altar in the light of day for all to see. But at night, the temple is still the source of light. There in the sanctuary, the menorah shines through the night and illuminates the darkness, bringing the radiance of the Shekhinah, the divine presence, into the world. So clearly one theme of this Torah portion is the huge responsibility of the Kohanim. Aaron and his sons were designated as the first priests. Aaron served as the first high priest, and all his male descendants were chosen by God to be priests forever, as the Torah tells us, and it shall be for them an appointment as priests forever, for all generations. That's Deuteronomy 18:5. And for Hashem your God has chosen him out of all your tribes to stand and serve in the name of Hashem, him and his sons forever. This promise is forever. Even today, a Kohen is genetically a direct descendant of Aaron. God tells us that he chose these men to be in a position of spiritual leadership. They are responsible for, among other things, the sacred service in the temple. But what they accomplish in this world is massive. The very word Kohen means to serve and is related to ken in Hebrew, meaning yes, related to kivun, meaning to direct. Thus a Kohen is called upon to direct himself and others in the proper service of God, as we are told, and you separate your brother Aaron and his sons from among the Israelites and bring them close to you so they can serve me. Exodus 28. These priestly descendants of Aaron, they're not magicians, and they're not endowed with special powers, but yet they possess special qualities. They represent the midah, the attribute of kindness. They literally stand for Hashem's kindness in this world and the focusing of life's energy on sanctity and divine purpose. It was the attribute of kindness, understanding, and love for all which Aaron, the first high priest, was best known for, and his descendants are entrusted to fulfill Hillel's famous dictum in the chapters of the Fathers, Pirkei Avot 1:12. Be of the disciples of Aaron, loving peace and pursuing peace, loving your fellow creatures and drawing them near to the Torah. Back in Exodus chapter 4, at the beginning of Moshe's career, after Moshe continued to demur and ask Hashem to send someone else to do the talking, God said in verse 14, "Is there not Aaron your brother, the Levite? I know that he will surely speak. Moreover, behold, he's going out to meet you, and when he sees you, he will rejoice in his heart." On these words, "he will rejoice in his heart," Rashi states, when he sees you, he will rejoice in his heart, not as you might think that he will resent your attaining a high position. Because of Aaron's goodness and humility, Aaron merited to wear the breastplate, which is placed over the heart. So Aaron merited to wear the breastplate of judgment worn over the heart, that tremendous import representing all of Israel, because he did not have a jealous heart. And this idea of midot, the transformative refinement of personal character and the perfection of our personal qualities, that's the type of person that God seeks to serve him in the Holy Temple. This is such a central Torah lesson. The Kohanim are ordinary men, real men, but they were chosen by God to be a conduit for the reception of divine blessing because they represent a human being striving to become the best that he can be. By attending to the various aspects of the divine service, the priests serve as conduits to bring down God's radiant blessing and influence into this world. All their activities, their every move as they carry out their sacred tasks, require intense mindfulness. For example, at every moment while the high priest is wearing the golden plate that bears Hashem's name on his forehead, the words holiness to Hashem, he must not divert his mind from it. There, in that arena of the fixing of the Garden of Eden, these men stand in for all humanity. They are the most fully conscious, sober, acutely aware people on earth. Because of their ability to invoke heavenly influence, the sages even record that the priestly families possess distinctive character traits and qualities which are part of their special spiritual heritage. They're known to be joyful, giving, and driven to a loftier nature. In the era of the temple, they were praised for their zeal and dedication to fulfill the commandments and give honor to the Creator. The daily blessing of the priests in the temple service, it serves to open the heavenly gates of mercy, and through it, the people of Israel and the entire world merit mercy and true peace. Since the priests themselves represent the attribute of kindness, their service brings the flow of God's blessings into this world. This is why the Kohanim are commanded to deliver God's blessing of peace and love to the people, as we learn in Numbers 6, the priestly blessing. Say to Aaron and his sons, "Thus shall you bless the people of Israel. May Hashem bless you and protect you. May Hashem shine his face upon you and be gracious unto you. May Hashem lift up his face to you, and may he grant you peace." Now, the clothes of the ordinary priests, and especially the clothes of the high priests, they're extremely detailed, specific, and important. In the beginning of chapter 28, we read, "And you bring near to yourself your brother Aaron and his sons with him from among the children of Israel to serve me. Aaron, Nadav and Avihu, Elazar and Itamar, Aaron's sons. You shall make holy garments for your brother Aaron, for honor and glory. And you shall speak to all the wise-hearted, whom I have filled with the spirit of wisdom. And they shall make Aaron's garments to sanctify him, so that he serve me. And these are the garments that they shall make: a choshen, an ephod, a robe, a tunic of checkerwork, a cap, and a sash. They shall make holy garments for your brother Aaron and for his sons to serve me. They shall take the gold, the blue, purple, and crimson wool, and the linen, and they shall make the ephod of gold, blue, purple, and crimson wool, and twisted fine linen, the work of a master weaver. In fact, the entire chapter 28 is taken up with these commandments, the instructions for the uniforms of the high priest and the ordinary priests. We see that Hashem gives Moshe very specific instructions regarding the clothes of the Kohanim. Every aspect of their clothing is so important. Why? First, we need to remember the history of clothing. The first mention of clothing in the Torah goes back to Bereshit, Genesis. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized that they were naked. And they sewed together a fig leaf and made themselves aprons. Genesis chapter 3 and verse 7. Clothing was born of shame as a result of man's betrayal against God. The Hebrew word beged, meaning clothing, is related to boged, meaning betray, to be unfaithful. Eating from the tree of knowledge was an attempt at usurping power that brought the illusion of separation from Hashem. And the Kohanim are all about returning the power to Hashem and bringing us back to awareness of our unbroken connection with Hashem. The divine service facilitated by the Kohanim restores unity and harmony to all creation and seeks to rectify man's betrayal and inspire fidelity. Since they are standing up for the whole world, the relationship between the Kohanim and their uniform is extremely unique. Their clothing is not mere characteristic apparel or a badge of office. Our sages teach that according to the instructions Moshe received at Mount Sinai, the very identity of the Kohanim as Kohanim is intrinsically bound up with these clothing to the extent that their service is incomplete, it's invalid without wearing the clothing. They are not allowed to serve God in the temple without these garments, and they are simply not Kohanim without the clothing. This is because the Kohen serving in the temple is the very archetype of for the people, of the people, and by the people. The clothing belongs to and is provided by the nation. He is an extension of and the representative of the people. And a Kohen wearing his priestly garments becomes an activated, functioning unit. Because the truth is, we are taught, just as the korbanot, the offerings brought to the altar in the Holy Temple, just as they bring about an atonement for man, meaning, what is this idea of atonement? It means that they serve to facilitate a process that helps to rectify man's lack of self-knowledge and the existential dilemma of his human condition that too often reflects the base nature of the animals. Just as the korbanot atone, so also the clothing worn by the Kohanim atones. Meaning the fact that the Kohen is wearing these garments and concentrating on what they represent while he stands before God in this most sanctified place on earth, that helps to reconcile God and man and bridge the gap between them by accepting responsibility. Thus our sages teach, the tunic atones for sins of bloodshed, the pants atone for sins of sexual transgressions, the hat for haughtiness, the belt for negative thoughts, the choshen for the miscarriage of justice, the ephod for idolatry, the coat for lashon hara, evil speech, the tzitz, the golden headplate, for brazenness. Just the very fact that he's wearing them while attending to his duties of clarifying the godly soul from the murkiness of the animal nature of man by the altar, by the place from where Adam was created, just the fact that he's wearing them helps to effect a spiritual process of harmony and peace. It's not magic. But on the contrary, because he is so real and he's so willing to risk it all and accept responsibility for his brethren and for the world. Now let's get back to the mystery we mentioned earlier. The mystery of the disappearance of Moshe's name in our Parashat Tetzaveh. Many reasons and explanations are offered to address this phenomenon. Famously, the Gaon of Vilna points out that the 7th day of Adar, which always falls out during the week in which Parashat Tetzaveh is read, is the anniversary of the death of Moshe. Another idea is that later in the Torah, actually in next week's Parashat Kitisa, when seeking atonement for the children of Israel following the debacle of the golden calf, Moshe petitioned the Holy One, blessed be He, and he uttered the words, "Erase me from your book that you have written, if you do not forgive the children of Israel." Macheni na, please erase me, misifrecha, from your book. In Hebrew, sifrecha, your book, is sefer chaf. It can be divided into the word sefer, book, and the final letter chaf meaning yours. But it can also be divided and interpreted as sefer chaf, chaf having the numerical value of 20. Erase me from the 20th book or section of the Torah, and the 20th parsha of the Torah is our Parashat Tetzaveh. And as our sages teach, the curse of a wise man comes to pass, even if it was made on condition. But what's really going on here? What does this mean? Moshe's prayer, after all, was on behalf of all of Israel. If so, erase my name from your book. Such was his great love for Israel. His intention was, if you do not forgive the people of Israel, life is just meaningless for me. So what are we to make of this, that Moshe's name is left out of this portion? He said, erase my name from your book out of his great love and compassion for the nation of Israel. Why should his name be left out of this portion on that account? The truth is, open up your heart in the deepest way, Moshe's name rings out everywhere in this parsha. Everything is all about, around, and hinging on Moshe. God gave all the commandments to him personally. The oil is brought to him. He's the one who sanctifies the clothes and the tabernacle. Later we'll see that he's the only one who can even pull the tabernacle together, the whole tabernacle. He taught Aaron the service of the high priest. He causes the Shekhinah to descend. He is the conductor over everything without his name being present. His power, his holiness resound throughout the parsha. His presence is palpable, even though his name is not mentioned. And the fact is, the very fact that Moshe's name is not mentioned in the parsha is proof of his personal connection to the Torah, greater than that of any other, because only someone who really understands the true value of the Torah will alone be willing to sacrifice himself for it. According to our sages, the attribute of self-sacrifice for the nation of Israel is the highest level to aspire to, that it's the level equivalent to divine inspiration, which precedes the level of prophecy. It was in the merit of Moshe's attribute of self-sacrifice that he merited to Hashem's revelation of his 13 attributes of mercy, as we shall encounter in Parashat Kitisa. We're also taught that the faces of all the tzaddikim, all the truly righteous, will shine in the world to come. In the classic Tana Dve Eliyahu, our sages ask, why is it then that Moshe merited that his face shone already well yet in this world, as the Torah testified? They answer that his face shone well yet in this world because he did the will of Hashem with all his heart. He was anguished over the honor of Hashem and the honor of Israel, and all his life, that which he strove for, that which was most precious to him, was for there to be peace between Israel and their Father in heaven. A young girl named Ori Ansbacher of blessed memory was murdered by an Arab last week in Jerusalem because she was a Jew. That means she became a sacrifice in the name of all of Israel. And like Moshe, whose face shone in this world, her very name, Ori, means light, and she brought light to friends, family, and all the world. She too tried to do the will of Hashem, anguished over his honor and the honor of Israel, and peace was her precious dream. As the president of Israel said when he met with the Ansbacher family to offer his condolences, I do not know many people whose name became the meaning of their life. I have read a lot about Ori since we lost her. In every story, every memory, there is such great light. She lit up her friends, light shone from her, and she left light behind. In every interview about her, people talk about the light that shone from her. People are going out to walk along the path that she walked along. People are talking about the good they see around them. And this is a great gift that she gave us without even knowing it. Ori did not intend to become a symbol, but she was chosen to become one. She's helping the Jewish people by inspiring them to fill the void that the absence of her light is leaving in the world. The people of Israel will make sure that her name is not left out of the book. Kindness, humility, self-sacrifice, light, bringing the Shekhinah into the world. This is what the Mikdash is all about. God has faith in us that we can do it, as he himself tells us this week in Parashat Tetzaveh. I shall set my meetings there with the children of Israel, and it shall be sanctified with my glory. I will sanctify the tent of meeting and the altar, and I will sanctify Aaron and his sons to serve me. I will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel, and I will be their God. They will know that I, Hashem, am their God, who brought them out of the land of Egypt in order that I may dwell in their midst. I am Hashem, their God.